I think people would love to hear, Dave, you've been a CTO, you've been a CISO now, you've had both titles at different times,
Yes.
and you've been at some major organizations, and you've brought revolutionary change a number of times. My question would be, how did you get to that, right? How did you get there? What was that journey like? And if people in the audience are thinking like, I want to get there,
Yeah.
what do people need to do to get there?
So my background is not technical by nature, I suppose. I got my degree in English Lit, so I focus more on the communications aspect of my college career. But that being said, I built my first computer when I was 13 or 14. So I've always been involved in tech, but I felt it was really important to have the communication background and be able to tell a story, right? When you think about the CISO role or the executive role in general, most of what we do is aligning messages to audiences. So if you're talking to boards, you have a certain level of vocabulary, let's say, that you're using. If you're talking to more technical people, you change the tone and the cadence of how you speak, right? And that skill, I think, is very important, especially nowadays with the proliferation of social media and the internet, and how, you know, we've kind of distilled down our messaging to 160 characters, you know, very small sound bites. You lose a lot of the nuance and the context of what makes it important to get the gist of what the problem is. So my advice to anyone who's kind of looking to do this journey is, you know, be really on top of understanding who you're communicating with. Also be very good at understanding what your problem statement is and being able to frame it in terms that your audience can understand. That's more than half of the challenge. Then the other part is just making sure you surround yourself with really good people, right? If you have teams that aren't really aligned with you, that's going to be a problem, right? So clearly networking is a big one for me, and it's been very helpful, especially as I've moved from, you know, different industry segments and, you know, talking with a lot of people at conferences here. You know, you get a lot of insights by seeing how everyone is experiencing the same thing through a different lens, and then collectively you can start to really come up with creative ideas about how to solve these really big problems, but in ways that make it so you don't have to shoulder the entire burden yourself. So overall, I'd say a lot of grit, you know, be humble, but also be hungry. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the kind of the ideal candidate, smart, humble, hungry. If you hit all three, keep that person, right? But I think it's just, we're in a very challenging time. We're coming out of the pandemic, and everyone has been remote and disconnected, and now we're finally getting reconnected. And I think we have a unique opportunity right now to kind of revisit and rethink how we want to approach, you know, big world work problems.